Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. Over the past few years, we've received a ton of video requests, but the request that we receive most often is for a video on how to properly package your video games for a video game submission so they don't get damaged in transit. So that's what we're going to show you guys today. Now here we use two different methods to send our games into WATA or VGA or whichever company we're using, and neither of these methods has resulted in any damage in transit since we've been submitting games. Now the first method that we'll show you guys is for more of let's say an economy type of game submission, where either we have a bulk submission or games that are valued under $1,000. The next method that we'll show you guys later in the video is for high value games, or if you're sending things from overseas to the US for grading. So both these methods, the packaging supplies are going to cost you $20 or less, most likely. But when you're submitting games, $20 to $30 on packaging supplies is well worth it. You only have one chance to protect these games on the way to the grading companies. If they arrive there damaged, it's too late. So spend 20 or 30 bucks, get the proper packaging, and send in your games to get the highest grade possible. So let's go ahead and get started with our first method. Like I said, this is going to be the more bulk or economy type of method to send in your games. First off, you're going to need a box. So we select this box here. Typically when you're selecting a box for submission, you want to make sure that there's going to be about 3 to 4 inches of room around your group of games. So we have a group of games here that we'll be bundling up today to send in. And what you typically do is you want to hold your games up to the box like this and see that there's going to be about an inch or two around the games where you can actually put in some foam or bubble wrap or peanuts. So you definitely want to create a cushion around your submission. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need a box, like we said, your games for your submission, some foam or bubble wrap. We like to use foam. Now this is 1/8 inch foam, very thin. But bubble wrap, if you're using bubble wrap, use 3/16 bubble wrap. It's the one with the really small bubbles. We like to use the foam because the bubble wrap seems to be a little bit more rigid, and we've heard of stories of people actually having their games crushed that were wrapped in bubble wrap, because sometimes the seams of these games will come between the bubbles in the wrap, and they will get nicked or damaged if they're packaged improperly. But this here actually provides a lot more coverage, and it's very soft, so you don't have to worry about it smashing your games, crushing your games. And it's when you package these games, you're going to package them a little loosely so that it doesn't crush them when you tape them together. So you need some foam or bubble wrap, your submission, some bags of some sort. You can use sandwich bags or freezer bags or just any kind of plastic bag like this, some tape, and of course, some peanuts. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll show you guys how to bundle the games together and then how to package them correctly so they don't get damaged. So let's go ahead and get started with properly packaging your games. Now, when you're submitting a game, of course, the seal grade is one of the important grades that you're going to receive on your game. So you want to make sure you protect the seal. So we are using these, just any thin plastic bag will work, because all you're doing right now is you're wrapping each individual game so they don't rub together, so the seals don't get abrased or ripped or torn in transit. And it doesn't matter how you put these in here. This one here has a hang tab, so we're just going to throw these in this way. We don't tape these. We try to minimize any kind of tape cutting that the receiver at the grading company has to do, because anytime anybody gets a blade near your games, there's room for error. So just package them up. Don't tape these things. Just fold them under. They'll be fine. We're going to wrap it up in this foam here shortly, so they're not going to come undone. So you don't have to worry about them falling out. We're using these Atari games because these are very fragile boxes. These games are like 40 years old. So this will work for any of these cardboard boxes or any game, even in the new clamshells for PlayStation 1, 2, or 3. PlayStation 2 or 3. But we're using these cardboard boxes to show you guys that this here works for cardboard boxes, not just those hard clamshells, so you don't have to worry. So now that we wrapped all our 5 games here in plastic, we are going to get our foam And you're going to wrap this somewhat loosely. You know, you're not going to make it super tight. It doesn't have to be watertight. It just has to be tight enough to bundle the games together so that they don't break. And you don't have to wrap it a ton of times. Let's say that's perfect right there. This here isn't what provides the protection. The protection is going to be provided on how you actually package them in the box and how you put the peanuts around them. So you just close it up like you're wrapping a present. If the tape looks like it's going to hit the boxes, that's okay because you do have plastic around them. So it's not going to damage them in any way. Like I said, package it somewhat loosely, and there you have your 5 games for submission. Don't squeeze it, of course, because these are cardboard boxes. So this is what you're going to start with. So like I said, this is more for our bulk type of submission or games valued under $1,000. So you get your box here, this box, and you have your bundle of games. So let's say you want to do a bulk submission. This is 5 games here. We already bundled together another group of 4 games. These are all PS2 games, so they're in these hard clamshells. So let's say we want to send this submission to WATA. So you're going to get some peanuts. We put these in a tall kitchen bag to show you guys how little, the small amount of peanuts you actually need for this. So don't buy a humongous, bag of peanuts for this project. You buy these small these $5 bags at any postal supply store, and that'll work just fine. So when you're putting your peanuts in, you want to cover the bottom. Cover the bottom of the box by like 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches or so that it looks like this. See? You don't want, the general rule of thumb is if you put your hand straight down there, it should come up to about your knuckle line. This is actually providing the cushion for the bottom. You want that secure because when you put your label on top, typically when shippers process this and transit this across the nation, this will always remain on the bottom because they have to read the label on top. Either that or they'll put it sideways so they can read the label. So this will typically always be on the bottom when they're in their final destination. So you want to provide enough cushion there. So you take your first bundle of games, set it in the center, take your next bundle of games, right next to it, so that inside your box looks like this. Games right in the center of the box, the bundles right together. So make sure they're loosely packaged in there. Get the rest of your peanuts here. Now when you're putting your peanuts in, you want to separate the 2 bundles and put peanuts in between them as well. Shake them around so the peanuts fall all around. So you're making sure you get enough in there to protect it. A lot of people don't do that, and you have pockets where there's no peanuts, and then in transit, the bundles move because you didn't put enough peanuts in there to protect them. So let's show you what this looks like right now. This is what we have right now. The 2 bundles in there, peanuts all around them, peanuts in between, and on each side. Like I said, you have about 2 inches on each side, which is the minimum of what you want. Whoop. A little too many peanuts. You definitely do not want to put too many on top because when you close the flaps, it's going to crush down. And then if anything impacts your box in transit, it could possibly dent those boxes. So you don't want to put too many peanuts in there. The whole purpose of this is just to cushion the bundles that you made. You want to have enough peanuts so that they are relatively stable in the box, but not so much that if anything impacts it, it's so firm and dense that it crushes your boxes in there. You do want them to be able to move a teeny bit in case there's a huge, like a heavy impact, or they drop the box. You want the bundles to be able to move some. That's what protects the games. So now that we have the box full, you can see it's pretty full to the top. You want to be able to close these lids here like this without smashing, without feeling any heavy pressure. You want it to come right on top like this, where you can't push any further down, but where it's not too hard. And then close it up. And now you can hear when you shake it, you hear some peanuts moving around slightly, but your bundles are secure in there, and that is how you bundle these bulk submissions or games, let's say valued under $1,000. This here method, use this method in the United States. If you're shipping anything from overseas to the US, you want to use our next method that we'll show you right now. That's also the method you want to use for any high value games. So let's go ahead and break this down, and we'll go ahead and show you guys our second method for shipping games. Now we're going to go ahead and show you our second method that we use to ship video games. Now, this is what we use for high value games, or if you're an international client shipping games to the United States for grading, use this for any submission. This will give you a lot more protection than the first method. But if you live within the United States, you're shipping within the United States, or if you're sending in a bulk submission, the first method that we showed you guys, that'll provide you plenty of protection. We never had any issues, any damage in transit with that first method. But the second method here will give you some more protection. So if you're a little bit more paranoid, a little more concerned about your games, definitely use this here method. But this is a little overkill unless you need the extra protection. So start off with our box again, like this. This method here is often called the box within a box. This is what a lot of people use to ship high value items across the country. For this, you're going to start with a smaller box. So you get your two boxes now. Make sure your smaller box fits within your bigger box here with at least, 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 inches around it, just like you did for the bundles of games that we made a moment ago. Put your box in here. It has to have 2 or 3 inches around it because you're going to be packaging this as if it was a bundle of games. So you have your two boxes here. This is your high value submission, let's say. So more or less you're packaging this box twice. So get your peanuts again. Once again, you put some peanuts on the bottom of the box. Looks like this. Put in your submission so it sits in the middle of the box like this. Add some more peanuts all the way around. Make sure it stays in the center and that you shake it like this. You want to make sure those peanuts get around and provide protection. And once again, when you're putting them on top, don't put them so hard that you smash your games when you close the box. You will destroy your own games trying to package them safely. So you want to have enough peanuts in here on top to provide ample protection like this. So you just close this up here. Make sure you tape this box shut. Like so. And if you notice, we are using recycled boxes for this to show you guys you don't need to go out and buy a bunch of boxes. If you're buying stuff online, you typically have boxes laying around. Do not use the USPS, the medium flat rate, large flat rate boxes to send your games to WATA or VGA, wherever you're sending them. Those things are very, very thin. They crush all the time. They pop on the seams on the side. They do not provide enough protection. So definitely use a harder, heavier test weight box for any of these submissions that you send. This one here, heavy crush weight. This here will provide you enough protection. This is your inner box, so it doesn't have to be as rigid. If you have to, go ahead and use a medium or large flat rate box for your inner box. You don't need a super rigid box for the inner box because hopefully the outer box and the cushioning around it will protect this box here. So now we're going to do the exact same thing we did a moment ago. Fill the bottom here with about 2 inches of peanuts. Like so. Put this box in here as if it was your bundle of games from the first method. So it will look like this. Put it right in the center. And then you'll do the exact same thing. Put the peanuts all the way around and on top. Like I said before, make sure you shake it. Drop the bag of peanuts. Okay, so your box is going to be in here, covered with peanuts, all around the sides. Same thing as before. just close it up now, tape it up, and it's on its way. So there you have our two methods that we use to send our games to WATA and VGA for grading. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Please drop us some comments in the comment section below. Let us know what you guys think. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.